Well, first of all, it was appalling what happened with that Western Regional Conference in October of 2010. You had a budget of $250,000. They spent over $822,000. That's one bad thing. The bad thing that's really appalling is that they broke just about every rule of the GSA in order to do so, using taxpayer funds to buy trinkets, to do rewards, to spend lavishly for food and for room and board or rooms at this resort in Las Vegas. It was absolutely absurd. What was even more absurd was that the acting, or the agency head at the time, Miss Murphy, I believe it was Ms. Murphy. She was told in May of 2011 by the Inspector General that this was coming down. So she knew, and the report wasn't released until April 2nd of 2012. She knew for almost a year what was going to happen, and she failed to take any corrective action. In fact, in December of 2011, she authorized a $9,000 raise to Mr. Neely, the director out there at the Western Region, who put this whole thing together, who's the one that is now the subject of all of this, and yet even though she understood and has admitted that his behavior was inappropriate and appalling, she still gave him a $9,000 raise. What does this mean? I think it's indicative of the fact that we've got problems in every agency in the federal government. And while we're having hearings on this, we just had a hearing yesterday in Oversight. There's one today, I believe, with Micah and Transportation, and there's 2 more next week in the Senate, or 2 later this week in the Senate. Something has to be done to show accountability for the dollars that we spend. And there has to be some oversight that says you can't spend over this, or you can't do these particular activities, and there has to be penalties in play. It's unfortunate, but then again, it's also probably why Congress has a 9% approval rating with the American public. They're fed up with this.
So what do you think we should do? I mean, is anyone proposing any
Yes. Well, our staff is working on some legislation we hope to have out later this week that will address this, that will require congressional oversight on certain amounts, that will limit what you can do in terms of trips on the government expense. You know, there's no reason that a government agency should be out there doing an American Idol contest for government employees. You know, if you were in the private sector and using private dollars, you do it as you see fit. But these are taxpayer dollars. And anybody who's elected to office, appointed to office, or hired in public service has the utmost fiduciary responsibility to be stewards of the taxpayer dollars. And we have to focus on that. You know, this isn't our money. It is the people's money. And we should not only be accountable, but we should be transparent in how we spend our dollars. Connie's been a friend of mine for a long time. We first got elected together in 2000 in the Florida legislature. You know, I know Connie pretty well. I think name ID wise, he's got a good opportunity to be the presumptive nominee. And so I have been working with him and supporting him in this race. I was not aware that Jeff is interested in the race. Jeff is a longtime friend. In fact, Jeff and I got elected together as well in 2000. I think Jeff's done an outstanding job, not only as Senate President, but also CFO. So his name to the race, you know, surprises me.
The tone has been, as of late, according to Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, is that she's willing to reach across the aisle and work bipartisanly. I mean, is that true? Are they really reaching across the aisle and working with you guys?
I haven't necessarily seen it at this point, but I do have an opportunity to reach across the aisle and have been. I chair a subcommittee on the federal workforce in the United States Postal Service. And as you may know, we're doing some significant reforms because we have to with the Postal Service. The ranking member, the Democrat member on my subcommittee is Steve Lynch out of Massachusetts. Steve and I have become good friends. Steve and I have been, I think we agree on many points on what we do need to do with the Postal Service. And he's very knowledgeable, and I have a great deal of respect for the man. Hanson Clark, who's a Democrat from Detroit, Michigan, has become a good friend. We're working on some ideas on some student loan programs to facilitate the repayment of student loans. So it's happening, but I think it's happening on a micro level, not on a macro level, that Debbie suggests that we are. Yeah, the one thing about this is that if we're going to accomplish anything significant, it most likely has to be a bipartisan issue. We're in an election year. It's going to be difficult to do.